for us to understand here is that what's being proposed by the government, certainly in terms of higher education funding, amounts to nothing less than the privatisation of the sector. Now, coming from a railway background, I've seen the privatisation of the railway. I've seen what has happened to the railway through the privatisation. I don't want to see that happen to higher education funding. And that's why I think it's important that we, students from Glasgow University, make our voice heard in Edinburgh on Saturday and in London on the Wednesday, the 10th of November, to show to the government that we won't accept privatisation of what should be a public service. Higher education in Glasgow has been public for 560 years. Now, for the past 560 years, that's worked incredibly successfully. That's produced a number of excellent graduates. I don't see why there's any need for that to change. The government talks about cuts being fair, cuts being spread across society. But I say, when you're talking about a cut of only 5% in defence, yet a cut of almost a half, if not more, in the teaching grant, the university throughout the country, I don't see that as fair. I see that as discriminating against higher education. I think we also need to bear in mind that, although, I'll be honest, I don't necessarily feel like a vulnerable member of society, students are vulnerable members of society. We're at the mercy of landlords when we give them deposits for flats. We're at the mercy of governments who pay our loans for our tuition fees if we come from England, who pay our maintenance grant. We are vulnerable because we are at the mercy of these sectors of society. I think it's therefore important, and I would urge you all to join us. I'm sure these guys will be telling you the same, and they'll be telling you much better and with more facts than my rhetoric. But I'd urge you to join us in Edinburgh this Saturday, and I'd urge you to join us on Wednesday, the 10th of November, down in London, to march for higher education, because we are important. I don't want to stand up my own arse, but graduates are important to this country, and I think in all the proposals the government has put forward, it's failed to recognise this. Now, we're lucky in Scotland that the Browne Review doesn't necessarily directly apply to us, but it applies indirectly to us, and we need to be concerned by what's happening south of the border. We need to be concerned by what the